just a tiny bit of shrimp of fried rice. I should have ordered more, I guess. And oh, look at that. True moo. True moo. Chocolate milk.
They are not losers. They are our heroes.
Well,
will honor our veterans. And in 10 months, we will have a vice president.
At least I fixed one tractor so far. Now we got another broken tractor. Why didn't I not? Should have got more fried rice. Oh, that's tasty. I'm hungry. What am I doing? Turning off the notifications. Too many.
Democrat has shared the belief that America must protect democracy in the world. Every president has honored our veterans and their sacrifices. Every president, but one. So we face a critical choice: to vote for someone who stands with our military and stands up for democracy, or someone who will disrespect our heroes and undermine our democracy.
Broccoli.
My fellow Americans, there is only one choice. One choice. And let me tell you something. When she takes her oath of office, as she will this January, our allies will cheer. Our
message held for review.
And we will have a commander-in-chief that we can trust. God bless our veterans. And God
they hid your comment, Linda. Hey, Pat.
Former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta.
At least I got one tractor running. Now we got another broken tractor. But the way the one I got running, the way the mower deck is, where the chute comes out, and this is the side of the mower deck, it's not completely open here. So when I was testing it, it kept clogging up with his tall, wet grass. The opening was like only half of the whole side of that mower deck. So I got to cut some more of this out because it's just terrible the way it's designed. Where's the beef? I know. I would get up there and tell them what for. Have you seen some of the like 2-minute commercials that they've run during the DNC? Oh my God. Some of them are freaking crazy amazing. Wow. Anywhere from Gauls? What is that? Anybody see Gabby Gifford speak? Wow. Listening to a few people make comments and stuff in the last few days about how they are single issue voters. And I don't know how you can do that. Okay. I firmly believe 2025, Project 2025, would be definitely somewhat acted on. So I've been asking people that say that they're Republican. So you're okay with them going after civil service jobs? Which friends of yours who work for the federal government are you gonna be okay with them firing, or LGBTQ rights? You know, and they don't care. They don't care. They're single issue people, and they're like, it's the economy or it's the immigration, but they don't care about all these other things that people in this country are going to have to deal with. It blows my mind. Well, Putty Cat, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been, passionate about something. You know, I mean, the who's up there now?
Veterans serving in the government now. Ruben Gallego of Arizona now addressing the convention hall just before the top of the hour now, almost 10 o'clock in the East and 9 o'clock here in Chicago.
For the fourth and final night of the Democratic National Convention, moments to now, this crowd of thousands in Chicago and millions of people watching at home will witness history.
Yeah, Vice President Kamala.
Well, yeah, the government. Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big bloated thing. I mean, Kamala hasn't said she's against Palestine, but she's definitely shown some support. I mean, these are not easy issues, and when you're the person who may be making the decisions, you have to be, I don't know, diplomatic. Oh, really, Pat? Pink, the when Pink was up there with her daughter, wow. Did anybody see the 6 minute thing that Keenan Thompson did, I think, yesterday? Oh man, it was brilliant. Brilliant. Who's this coming out?
Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Governor Whitmer.
I'm Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Draper. So, who are you supporting? A grifting misogynist convicted felon? Is that what you're supporting? You like to kick down on other groups of people? Is that what you're about? You're going to support a guy who had to have his university closed because he was ripping off students? How does that compute? Explain to me, how does that compute? You're going to support a guy who says POWs are losers? I think my father would have words with anybody who said that. Nobody's murdering babies. Nobody's murdering babies. But you say what you need to say. You support white nationalism and Nazis. My father fought against the Nazis. Why does Trump allow them, or the Republicans allow them at rallies and other nonsense? Why? Where's the corned beef from? Oh no, it's hey Huck, it's broccoli beef and some fried rice from my friend's old restaurant in Berea. He used to own it, Namwa. It's on Bagley, right behind the McDonald's. Only takeout. I wish it was corned beef too. I haven't had that in a long time. Been meaning to go to Slyman's. Yeah, I've been out there for 2 days trying to get the one tractor running. Finally got the one lawn tractor running after rebuilding the carb and need to cut some more of the mower deck out of the way, though. It doesn't blow the grass out enough.
Who the hell is in charge? What if it's him? What if it's that man from Mar-a-Lago? I know, in a crisis, we need someone strong enough to come up with a plan, to tell the truth, and to bring people together. Right now, before the crisis, is when we get to choose. Why wouldn't we choose the leader who's tough, tested, and a total badass?
Oh, Slyman's? Oh, yeah.
I know who I want as our commander-in-chief. America, let's choose.
I've been meaning to get down to Slyman's to get a corned beef sandwich. Haven't been there in the original place in decades. Oh. Who's coming out next?
Well, all week long, we've been able to peer in right behind the stage and see all of the speakers who are coming up, see some of the backstage interactions. And just a couple of minutes ago, that blue curtain came down, to use a Democratic parlance, a blue wall, if you will, which now blocks our ability to see what's happening backstage. And then separately, I've been getting lots of signals from people who are saying that there is a very special surprise guest, and we want to be very careful about not going too far. At the same time, I also want to tell you about President Biden making a phone call. He and the First Lady have placed a phone call from Santa Ynez, California, where they are on vacation, to the Vice President, and have wished her encouragement for tonight and to say that they are going to be watching tonight.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some cool secret guest tonight. Yeah, Leon Panetta laid down some good points. Somebody the other night just was blistering. What's that?
Beyond what our editorial standards allow, but the blue curtain is one heck of a clip.
Walked us to the edge.
The blue curtain, the blue wall. We're right at the edge of just lunacy. I gotta say, Lester, if it's not
Beyonce. I was trying to look up something. Oh my. Okay, where's the rest of the beef in here? A lot of vegetables. Probably been the bottom. There's the beef. All right, what was I looking for here? Oh yeah, somebody's car got destroyed. I don't know how they did this. I'm trying to figure it out. I'd like to see this car. Oh, he's on.
To defend truth,
Kinzinger.
defend democracy, and decency. I was just a kid when I was drawn to the party of Ronald Reagan, to his vision of a strong America, the shining city on a hill. I was a Republican for 12 years in Congress, and I still hold on to the label. I never thought I'd be here, but listen, you never thought you'd see me here, did you? But I've learned something about the Democratic Party, and I want to let my fellow Republicans in on the secret. The Democrats are as patriotic as us. They love this country just as much as we do.
Go find Keenan Thompson at the DNC yesterday. Oh my God, it was brilliant. Brilliant. Really good piece.
And they are as eager to defend American values at home and abroad as we conservatives have ever been. I was relieved to discover that because
Ryan.
Oh, hello, Ryan.
it has switched its allegiance from the principles that gave it purpose to a man whose only purpose is himself. Donald Trump is a weak man pretending to be strong. He is a small man pretending to be big. He's a faithless man pretending to be righteous. He's a perpetrator who can't stop playing the victim. He puts on, listen, he puts on quite a show, but there is no real strength there. As a conservative and a veteran, I believe true strength lies in defending the vulnerable. It's in protecting your family. It's in standing up for our Constitution and our democracy. That is the soul of being a conservative. It used to be the soul of being a Republican. But Donald Trump has suffocated the soul of the Republican Party. His fundamental weakness has coursed through my party like an illness, sapping our strength, softening our spine, whipping us into a fever that has untethered us from our values. Our democracy was frayed by the events of January 6th, as Donald Trump's deceit and dishonor led to a siege on the United States Capitol. That day, I stood witness to a profound sorrow, the desecration of our sacred tradition of peaceful transition of power, tarnished by a man too fragile, too vain, and too weak to accept defeat. How can a party claim to be patriotic if it idolizes a man who tried to overthrow a free and fair election? How can a party claim to stand for liberty if it sees a fight for freedom in Ukraine, an attack pitting tyranny against democracy, a challenge to everything our nation claims to be, and it retreats, it equivocates, it nominates a man who is weirdly obsessed with Putin? And his running mate who said, quote, "I don't care what happens in Ukraine." Yeah, he wants to be vice president. Yeah. How can a party claim to be conservative when it tarnishes the gifts that our forebears fought for? Men like my grandfather, who served in World War II, who believed in a cause bigger than himself, and he risked his life for it behind enemy lines. To preserve American democracy, his generation found the courage to face down armies. Listen, all we're asked to do is to summon the courage to stand up to one weak man. Some have questioned why I've taken the stand I have. The answer is really simple, ladies and gentlemen. We must put country first. And tonight, as a Republican speaking before you, I'm putting our country first.
It's cool. Oh.
Because the fact is, I do belong here. I know Kamala Harris shares my allegiance to the rule of law, the Constitution,
Linda.
and democracy. And she is dedicated to upholding all three in service to our country. Whatever policies we disagree on pale in comparison with those fundamental matters of principle, of decency, and of fidelity to this nation. Listen, to my fellow Republicans, if you still pledge allegiance to those principles, I suspect you belong here too. Because
I have some good friends that are typically Republican who have said, yeah, Trump never again, you know. And others that, you know, have just turned disgustingly ugly.
if you think those principles are worth defending, then I urge you, make the right choice. Vote for our bedrock values and vote for Kamala Harris. God bless you.
Longtime conservative Republican getting the welcome mat here.
You know what's really interesting about the DNC? How many Republicans have spoke at the Democratic convention?
Vice President Harris's younger sister, Maya.
Oh, Vice President's younger sister.
In 1958, a 19-year-old from India left the only country she'd ever known to chart her own path in America. She came here to pursue an education, but she stayed here to build a life. Her name was Dr. Shamla Gopalan Harris. But we called her Mommy. Mommy was so many things to so
Hey, Paula.
many people. A civil rights activist, a scientist, a devoted mother to her two little girls. But most of all, Mommy was a trailblazer who defied the odds and defined herself. And when it came to Kamala and me, Mommy had great expectations for us, but she had even greater expectations of.
Who did I vote? Democratic representative? What do you mean? Delegate, you mean, or? Not understanding that, I guess.
Kamala and me, that's a distinctly American story. We may all have different histories, different struggles, or different perspectives, but what binds us together is the fervent desire to be free, to fulfill our God-given potential. Kamala's entire life has been about fighting for each of us to have that freedom. And like so many Americans, Kamala knows what it's like to be underestimated and be counted out. She knows what it's like to be the underdog and yet still beat the odds. And now, she has created so much electricity, so much optimism.
Linda. I mean, Reagan, at least, was, a human being, unlike Trump. He's the walking embodiment of a sycophant zombie.
Because Kamala understands we have so much more in common than what separates us. She knows the measure of our success isn't just winning an election. It's about who we bring along and lift up in the process. And so as I look out at all of you today and take in this incredible moment, I so wish that Mommy could be here tonight. I can just see her smiling, saying how proud she is of Kamala. And then, without missing a beat, she said, "That's enough. You got work to do." She would tell all.
No, I mean, they were who they were, but they weren't trying to pretend to be something, I mean, there's so many problems with people like Trump. Elitists that you just look at his family. Just look at how they interact with each other. you know, they don't really like embrace each other. They're like, yeah, high fives, like locker room stuff. It's not showing emotion. And then like yesterday, all these people beating up Tim Walls's son Gus for his emotion. Unbelievable hatred. It's like, what is that about? I don't get it. I don't get why people even go there, go to places like that.
The moment we're all waiting for. So I'm going to get right to it. All week, you've heard stories about my friend Kamala. I want to take you behind the scenes of one of them. 2011 was a rough time for American homeowners. Hundreds of thousands were losing their homes to illegal foreclosure. I was Attorney General in North Carolina.
No beliefs,
while
no.
Kamala
No.
had just become California's. All the AGs were close to a settlement with the big banks, and it was a pretty good deal. Would have meant $4 billion for California families who'd been ripped off. I know that sounds like a lot, but Kamala said, hang on a minute. I've met these families. I know what they've been through, and they deserve more. She went toe-to-toe with some of the world's most powerful executives, and she refused to give in. Let me tell you, this was a huge risk, but she knew it was a risk worth taking. That's Kamala. And we all know what happened. The banks caved. That $4 billion for California families became $20 billion. That was the first time I witnessed Kamala in action. And what I saw was a leader who does exactly what she says she's going to do, who never will settle for less. America, we got a lot of big fights ahead of us. And we've got one hell of a fighter ready to take them on.
I mean, you listen to Trump talk or any of his proxies or his kids, whatever. You never really hear stories about family. You never hear, the guy cannot connect on a real human level. I don't think any of them can. Um, I mean, and I don't get people that think that that's whatever they believe in is I don't know, cool. I don't get it. I was talking about the uh, Supreme Court Justice Brown, Ketanji Brown. She's coming to Cleveland in September to speak here at the City Club. That would be a cool event to go to. The tickets are going to sell out.
All right, if you're ready, my home state of North Carolina, stand up. Stand up, Pennsylvania. Stand up, Michigan. Stand up, Wisconsin. Stand up, Georgia. Stand up, Nevada. Stand up, Arizona. Stand up, America. Are we going to stand up? Are we going to fight? Are we going to vote?
And I was mentioning that to my friend that she's coming to town, and he laughed. He goes, I don't like her. I go, why? When she was being questioned, before being appointed, the one question he didn't like when she was asked, "What is a woman?" and she refused to answer. That's why he doesn't like her. He has a big problem with gender. This whole new world of different genders. He has a personal problem with that. Why couldn't she just say a woman is someone who carries babies? And these are concepts that I think he has a very hard time wrapping his head around.
Thing she'd say is, "Well, just stop the complaining. Just tell me what you're going to do about it."
And since she was a young girl, Kamala Harris has been fighting for families like the ones she grew up with.
That is Kamala. She can't help herself from standing up for.
And he didn't like my response because I always have arguments that he doesn't like. He didn't like that a lot of Supreme Court justices refuse to answer questions that may impact something that they may have to rule on. Now, I get it. What is a woman should be a pretty simple question and answer. But I'm not Ketanji I'm not her. And I don't know what her reasons were. I don't know if we ever will know. I don't even remember what the arguments might be from that point. I'd have to go look up that.
Foreign adversaries. And in 2020, she made history as the first woman to be elected vice president of the United States.
But Trump's constant ramblings are always about me, me, me. They're never about the country. They're always, look what they've done to me. I've been attacked. Name calling. He loves to call people names. He just said crazy stuff yesterday or today. I could look it up. It's just it's this giant sad violin, playing all the time. Wah, 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 wah. It's sad. She should have said the weaker sex.
And we just want fairness. We want dignity for all people. And we are a work in progress. We haven't yet.
And, you don't hear about the Republicans talking about lifting any group of people up, except the wealthy, maybe. They don't really talk about the working class that much. They don't talk. Trump said, "Oh, we're going to do infrastructure." He did like zero infrastructure. I mean, how do you not see these stark differences? How do you just not see these stark differences? How we ever let Trump get near that room in Washington, I don't know.
Please welcome the Democratic nominee for president, Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Here she is. What time is it? 10:30. Oh, the third person. I know the way he talks about himself and um, his, his phraseology. I mean, he said some stuff the other day. My comment was, this sounds like an 8-year-old whining about something. It does not sound like an adult. You know, he talks like some stilted, you know, 8-year-old who's not getting their way. I mean, he goes, "Oh, look at," he'll go, "It's terrible. Look at what they've done to me. It's terrible. Mommy, mommy, mommy." Ah." I mean, who does that? And how are people following that? I mean, I mean, he's smart. I mean, I said something earlier here, and on X, Twitter. What did I say here? It was a response to something Trump said. Come on, phone. Internet's been slow. Where is it here? Oh, here it is. So somebody says, "Oh my God," at a response to what Trump posted earlier. I don't know if it's on Twitter here. Listen to this crap. The highly overrated Jewish governor of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, made a really bad and poorly delivered speech talking about freedom and fighting for Comrade Kamala Harris for president. Yet she hates Israel and will do nothing but make its journey through the complexities of survival as difficult as possible, hoping in the end that it will fail. Judge only by her actions. Yet Shapiro, for strictly political reasons, refused to acknowledge that the golden one, that I have done more for Israel than any president. And frankly, how many frickin' times has this fucking turd said he's the one that did more for this? He's the one who's been slighted more. I've had the biggest crowds. I've had the biggest hate, and it's not even close. Shapiro has done nothing for Israel and never will. Comrade Kamala Harris, the radical left Marxist who stole the nomination from Crooked Joe, will do even less. Israel is in big trouble. I mean, it's crazy, and I said, oh, somebody here, my friend had said, exactly, her husband is Jewish, but she hates Jews and Israel. Trump is an idiot, and so are his followers. I said, he's not an idiot. He knows exactly what he's saying. Well, he may be an idiot, but he definitely knows what he's saying. He's just trying to stoke division and hate and fear. But his followers are obviously far more ignorant and more hateful. And my original other response to the Trump comment was, what do you want from a shit-gibbon orange zombie? This dude is gross beyond description. Listen to these comments. Who talks like this? The only people I know who talk like this are racists and bigots. I mean, what more do you need to know about, it's just disgusting.
I know that. So my mother
Yeah,
was
Linda.
19 when she crossed the world
That could
alone,
happen.
traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me. Growing up, we moved a lot. I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go to Illinois, to Wisconsin, and wherever our parents' jobs took us. My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music, Aretha, Coltrane, and Miles. At the park, my mother would say, "Stay close." But my father would say, as he smiled, "Run, Kamala, run, don't be afraid, don't let anything stop you."
What do you think
From my earliest years,
Trump's father
he
ever
taught
said
me
when he took
to
him
be
to the park?
fearless. But the
Oh, he
harmony
probably never took him to
between
the
my
park.
parents did not last. When I was in elementary school, they split up. And it was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live in the hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful working class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers, all who tended their lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she leaned on a trusted circle to help raise us. Mrs. Shelton, who ran the daycare below us and became a second mother.
People,
Uncle
yep.
Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood, and all of them family by love. Family who taught us how to make gumbo, how to play chess, and sometimes even let us win. Family who loved us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and do anything. They instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated, with kindness, respect, and compassion. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. And as the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health, and she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it. Do something about it.
Yeah.
That was my mother. And she taught us, and she also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote.
Yeah, wasn't I talking about not half-ass repairs earlier on the other stream?
I grew up
I hate
immersed in
doing
the
shit
ideals of the
half-ass.
civil
I
rights
really do.
movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley. Those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And when it came time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right, and she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice.
Exactly.
As a prosecutor, when I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim,
Out of the motor,
in the name of the people.
under the housing, which is
For a
difficult to
simple
get
reason.
off. I kind of tried to
In our
get
system
that
of
motor shield
justice,
off.
a harm
I
against
pulled a lot
one
out yesterday,
workplace is a
but
harm
it's more
against
work, and I
all of
needed some
us.
other things to take it apart and put it back together. He's always in a
I will
hurry.
often
Always in a hurry.
explain this to
He
console
always thinks stuff
survivors of
is
crime,
easy.
to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. We are all in this together. And every day in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people. And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Yeah, I wish my father could see this.
And with this election, our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self, to hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power. I will be a president who unites us around our highest aspirations, a president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense, and always
Common
fights
sense?
for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work. As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner Bill of Rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn. But we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for. And that's the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future.
I mean, some of you have heard me talk about my father. You know, he was a major politician. That was his life. He worked for the governor of Ohio at one point in the 50s. He then got heavy into politics here in Cuyahoga County and ran endless campaigns for people, ran for office 3 times himself. You know, he ran for governor, U.S. Senator. He was the nominee for Secretary of State of Ohio. You know, unfortunately, he never won. But he tried. He took a case to the Supreme Court about reapportionment and won that. One man, one vote. I met presidents because of him. I traveled the state with him doing politics stuff. Yeah, that was in the 60s. Brought it with one other guy. You know, every politician who was anybody in Ohio in the 60s or 70s, and especially in Cuyahoga County, was in this house at one point. We even chauffeured Humphrey once in our car. That wouldn't happen now. But I think he would be pretty proud to see a woman running for president. I should be listening to her.
Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States. Not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself. And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not
School vouchers are evil.
end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and child care for our children. America, we are not going back. And we are charting a new way forward. Forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. And I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy, an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town,
I guess I didn't know she had a sister. Maybe I'd heard. I don't think I'd ever seen a picture of her. Her sister is quite accomplished and very pretty.
to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage and protect Social Security and Medicare. Now compare that to Donald Trump, because I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the middle class. He doesn't actually fight for the middle class. Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. And all the while, he intends to enact what in effect is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by almost $4,000 a year. Well, instead of a Trump tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans. Friends, I believe America cannot truly be prosperous unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives, especially on matters of heart and home.
Absolutely.
But tonight, in America, too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it. In his words, quote, "I did it and I'm proud to have done it," end quote. Well, I'll tell you, over the past 2 years, I've traveled across our country, and women have told me their stories. Husbands and fathers have shared theirs. Stories of women miscarrying in a parking lot, developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because doctors are afraid they may go to jail for caring for their patients. Couples just trying to grow their family, cut off in the middle of IVF treatments. Children who have survived sexual assault, potentially being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda.
Oh, so you're going to vote for a rapist, convicted felon, punk ass university that had to be closed, asshole? Do you like kicking down on other people there? Is that what you're about? Kicking down on other people? I've got a good damn friend, an ex-girlfriend, who's an OBGYN in Philadelphia. The fucking horror story she's hearing from around the country, from the clinic she worked at in Tennessee for 20 years, about what's going on with women's health right now. Anybody voting for the right can go fuck off. Where are you to tell other people that how they choose to do their health, or that a woman has to give a miscarriage in a fucking bathroom before the doctor will treat her? You're fucking evil.
Trust women.
What the fucking hell? Had a conversation with her recently. She was fucking crying at the fucking crap she's hearing.
To restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
Fucking unbelievable what people fucking are dealing with.
In this election, many other fundamental freedoms are at stake. The freedom to live safe from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and live free from the pollution that fuels the climate crisis. And the freedom that unlocks all the others, the freedom to vote. With this election, we finally have the opportunity to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. And let me be clear. After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades. The Border Patrol endorsed it. But Donald Trump believes a border deal would hurt his campaign. So he ordered his allies in Congress to kill the deal.
Uh-oh. Supervisor's here. What are you doing? Jumping up here. What are you doing? What have you been doing? You've been outside, huh? Did you have a good patrol? What's up, Bandit? Yeah, there's food here. What are you doing? What are you looking at? What are you doing? Back up. Come on, back up. What's up, Supervisor?
We must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America
Mason, no, I don't watch any sports really.
most lethal fighting force in the world. And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice. I will make sure that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global
Where's my
leadership.
toothpick?
Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies, said Russia could, quote, do whatever the hell they want. 5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine,
I guess Trump is posting like mad right now. Kinds of crazy stuff.
I helped mobilize a global response over
The sky is falling.
to defend against Putin's
It's gonna hurt me. Don't let the sky fall.
And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and
Hey,
its
Al.
NATO allies. With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. And let me be clear, I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7th. Including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time,
You Bandit.
what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is
Bandit.
devastating.
Bandit to him.
Innocent lives lost.
Bandit smells food.
Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over
Two people behind him.
and the scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure.
I mean, he was giving a talk in a garage with some police cars. You can't do that. Bandit, stop that. No pushing on the phone. No pushing on the phone. No, there's nothing in here for you. Bandit, stop pushing the. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Phone is not a box you can rub against. Stop that.
Because they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
No.
And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals.
Stop pushing the phone.
Struggle between democracy and tyranny. I know where I stand, and I
What are you
know
doing?
where the United States
What are you
belongs.
doing? Pretty boy, look at you. You're going to have to go read the crazy tweets he's posting. And frickin', come on, you go, come on, go somewhere. You can't just keep. Cat, get out of the way. Oh my God, look at this guy.
Everywhere I go, in everyone I meet,
You're incorrigible.
I see a nation that is ready to move forward, ready for the next step in the incredible journey.
He'll turn around and see something, and he's like,
I see an
"What is that?"
America
He'll just
where
stand
we
there and look at it like,
hold
"That wasn't there
fast to the
before."
fearless beliefs that built our nation and inspired
Bandit,
the
you're
world.
crazy.
That here, in this country, anything is possible. That nothing is out of reach. An America where we care for one another, look out for one another, and recognize that we have so much more in common than what separates us. That none of us has to fail for all of us to succeed.
Okay, this was good, but there was not enough meat in here. It was kind of lame.
Opponents in this race are
Good vegetables and everything, but
every day
needs more beef.
America, talking about
But
how terrible
I didn't buy it, so.
everything is. Well, my mother had another lesson she used to teach. Never let anyone tell you who you are. You show them who you are. America, let us show each other and the world who we are and what we stand for. Freedom, opportunity, compassion, dignity, fairness, and endless possibilities. We are the heirs to the greatest democracy in the history of the world. And on behalf of our children and our grandchildren and all those who sacrificed so dearly for our freedom and liberty, we must be worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith, to fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American.
I'm just so disgusted by the hate from people I grew up with.
Let's get out there, let's vote for it, and together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United
That was a damn good speech. The first thing that I saw tonight when we were driving, when I opened up my phone, was her stepdaughters speaking.
Well, wherever Beyonce was watching, this is truly Kamala Harris's night on that stage tonight. And she really drew clear and sharp distinctions between herself and what was. Kind of a virtual confetti falling around them.
Oh. Here come the balloons.
Sending a very clear message that no party has the monopoly on patriotism. They want to make sure Americans across the country know that Democrats as well are patriotic as these balloons fall. I spoke to some delegates here, asking them about what they loved about the speech. Most of them said that the loudest cheers for them came when they were talking about Kamala Harris as a commander-in-chief, what she would do in Israel, what she would do in Ukraine. For them, that was the part they were cheering the most, and also about her life story, that her mother was the hero of her story. She was the leader in her family, that they were immigrants. They came here, life was hard. They were not rich, and yet they figured it out and were able to have a good life. A lesson she wants to give other Americans. And also, that they know who America is, and no one's going to tell them who America is, that she's going to lead America into the future. Clearly, the speech was well received.
So what a time.
Family and friends are now gathering up on the stage with Kamala Harris and the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, Governor Walz and his family, of course, his son Gus, the surprise star from this convention after that moment yesterday. And Democrats all across the United States are celebrating right now the official ticket. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, ready to take on the Republican ticket. And there's about 75 days left before Election Day. Savannah, Lester, I'll send it back to you. Balloons still falling in various sizes on the crowd here. People still soaking at the moment. Vice President Harris and her family somewhere beyond these balloons.
Well, that was a good little snack. Wasn't very... Bandit just heard something. He's got the best ears, man. You're better than a watchdog. I just don't think there's any more beef in here. Very lacking in beef. It's okay. At least it was tasty. I never go to Taco Bell. Jason said they built, I guess I didn't notice it the other day. Maybe we didn't go all the way through downtown. They built a Taco Bell in downtown Grafton. There's like nobody in Grafton. There's not that much traffic down the main road that passes through town. He said he read online apparently horrible reviews about the place. bad people working there, just bad food, just horrible. And he said he went by earlier and there was one car in the parking lot. I think that Taco Bell's not going to last. That's a lot of money wasted, man. I know there's nothing for you. Got to go pretty far to get to any other fast food from Grafton. You have to go to Elyria, really. But I don't know. Bad decision. Worse than most dog food. Gilly O'Donnell Bandit. I think I'm just going to throw this stuff out. There's nothing much else in here. I'm pretty full. Nothing here to save that I want to save. I mean, the vegetables would be worth saving, but should I save the vegetables? The rice is not worth saving. Not that there's even much of it. It's not the best fried rice. It's spoiled working at a truly good Chinese restaurant. Yeah, I thought they were going to have some big name singer or something. You know, I guess John Legend was supposed to perform earlier. Maybe he did. I don't know. But there was talk about somebody secret. Excuse me. Gonna hold your ears or turn your volume down. Well, they pulled off a pretty good convention with great speakers, amazing speeches. I mean, some of it. Yeah, I thought I heard even possibly horse meat at one time. I mean, because it's sold, horse meat is sold in some countries, and they could be importing stuff from who knows where.
Mother and the figurehead that she had at the head of her table who inspired her to become the person who she is, what inspired her to become a prosecutor. All of those details getting filled in. And then when she talked about what she plans to do for the country, talk about things like cutting taxes for the middle class, talk about things like voting rights, things that really matter to Democrats. But again, we didn't hear a whole lot about how she would be different from a Biden administration.
It's interesting because let's not forget this is someone trying to be the first female president, and the aura and the feel that people get from her is important. And it seems like she took on that role as prosecutor, whether it's about domestic policy or standing up to America's adversaries, or frankly calling out Donald Trump.
I mean, the Republicans, I watched bits of it, and it was just, a lot of foolishness, a lot of hate mongering, fear mongering, crazy stuff like Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock. I mean, really bizarre stuff. This was a very well organized event. Oh, what time is it? 11:20. Al Roker, I think, just turned 70.
You're your man, Mr. Janeway. Cloistered away with all your books, shutting out the world.
Any more peculiar than exploring the Midwest in an alien station wagon?
There's always Star Trek.
Any word on my car?
It's got a brand new oil pan.
Lots of weird, silly stuff, and again, just the whole differences in the messaging from both. The 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 right is just they're always kicking down on groups of people. It's just it's sad, and they're the ones who were recently talking about unity. What unity? When you want to take away people's rights, what unity? I don't get it. They did not preach an inclusive country. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, Bill's, he's getting old. Yeah, he's he's definitely not as strong physically. I think his voice is weak. Yep.
I've been digging through the historical database, but a lot of the information from that era has been lost or damaged. I thought you might be able to
78, right.
reconstruct some of it.
Is this relevant to our present mission?
It's relevant to me.
That's right,
This
Linda.
ancestor of yours is 15 generations removed. You only possess a small fraction of her genetic material. Insignificant.
This isn't about chromosome 7. It's about character.
Explain.
Shannon O'Donnell inspired me when I was a girl. She had an influence on my imagination, on my goals.
I never realized genealogy could have such an impact.
I wouldn't have become a Starfleet captain if it wasn't for her.
It's like Star Trek. If you watch Star Trek, the lessons that they're, the stories that they're portraying are about, seeking knowledge and understanding, not division, um, and these lessons, especially in Star Trek Voyager, between the captain and Seven of Nine, or any of the other crew, like the Doctor in Seven of Nine, helping her try to understand her humanity. Quite powerful um, teaching moments. Yes, vegan. Yes. Yeah, he said that that's one of the best decisions he ever made when he who worked on him to change? Was it the daughter, I think, or something? He was um, he just really embraced it and loved how much healthier he felt. 78 is a spring chicken. Well, hell, I was born in 1592, so yeah, it's all relative. Short lifespan, yeah. Yeah, I've got a good friend, Frank, from up here. He's living in Florida mostly now. He became the oldest living male on his side of the family when he turned 60 something. They all had bad tickers. Um, um, in fact, I don't remember how long ago, 15, 20 years ago, me and Robert, one of my best friends, we were remodeling a basement for a cardiologist in Westlake, Ohio. Big house. Basement was huge, a few thousand square feet, and we're putting in a gym and finishing off all the other spaces. Is a lot of work. We were there for a long time, and we became friends with the doc. Doc is cool and a very well known cardiologist around here. And um, Frank came over one day to look at some of the electric I was doing. It was a big electric, and Doc and Frank were talking, and Frank goes, "Yeah, my family or whatever has been going to you," and he said the last name, And Doc goes, "Oh, what's the last name?" And he says, "Oh yeah, bad genes, bad genes." So Frank really worked hard in the last few years. He got scared and really tried to change his diet and start exercising. He never exercised really. He never walked or rode a bike or hiked or did some things for yourself. Like that. He's not a super strong guy. He was just a guy, and um, I think it's helped. I think it's helped. Um, but yeah, just some people have bad lucks. Um, um, my dad didn't. I keep forgetting to look his damn age up. I can't remember his age when he died, but he died from basically alcoholism. He had really stopped drinking, but they were on a big European trip in Poland, and I don't know if he tried a few drinks over there or what, but he had another ulcer blowout in his stomach, and that was it. There you go, Linda. Yep. Like my good friend John Lee, who just passed away. You know, Vegetarian, healthy, not overweight, good shape, 60 some years old. His father, his mother both lived into their 90s. His mom is still alive. And he comes down out of the blue with freaking liver cancer. He only lasted a few months. In fact, mom came from Florida to take care of him. He wouldn't talk to anybody. It was sad. Nobody got to see him or talk to him after he got sick. He kind of went to ground, just hid, wouldn't even talk to people on the phone. Sad. So it's just luck. Most of it's written in your DNA. It's the time clock the time card's been punched, from the day you're made. But then, yeah, do you work with that time card, or do you keep taking too many breaks? And I mean, we're very resilient, whether it's injuries or other stuff. But yeah, what's in your wife's DNA? Sorry to hear that, Skippy. Yeah, my mom made it to, I always forget now, 78, I guess. Yeah, my dad and his best friend and my uncle, my mom's sister's husband, all three of those guys died in 85. You know how long ago that is? My dad and Uncle Dick from drinking. Two Irishmen who fought in World War II and never talked about it, drank their brains out. Uncle Tony, he got cancer, if I remember. I think that's what it was. Oh, 13 years, Linda. So, smoked a pack a day, survived a widowmaker. She's still living, 87. Wow. Yeah. And then my sister, she just passed. And she was smoking who knows how much, or her whole life, a lot. She ended up with cancer. But she'd also been living on the street for months and months and was not in good shape. And her schizophrenia just had to be hard on her. Who knows? You know, she had a hard life. She did not get a good deal.
Morning.
Morning.
I didn't think you'd mind. You've got some really great games on this thing.
Don't worry about it. Have you tried Matrix of Doom?
Yeah, but she had a hard life. Hard life. Still need to try to do a memorial service. Something. Yep. COVID. Oh. Yeah, COVID punched a lot of people's ticket. Just really getting them sick with other things that they couldn't handle. And we didn't, especially early COVID, we didn't know how to deal with it. You know. Oh, here's my friend asking how my beef was.
Dad. I mean, he's a pain sometimes, but he's pretty cool. Alexandria Books, may I help you? That's all right. First call in 3 days, and it's a wrong number.
All right, I'm going to go look at some of the comments from tonight on the internet. And everybody be nice, be kind. Check for smoke alarms. Oh, now the numbers go up. Just when I'm starting to leave. Anyway. Oh, hello there, Donahue. Never know who's lurking here, who's watching. That's the one thing I like about Heckle. I know who's in the room. Where'd Bandit go? I think he's over on the chair. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah, Heckle's still up. Yep, got Android going now. I've been getting over there a little more often to watch some people and stream a little. I need to I want to start streaming there again a little. I just keep forgetting. I really should go over there and promote it a little. It's a good platform. All right, since I've been on long enough, I'm going to go. Ciao. Out.